Hello, Sean here, Mountains Garage, and it's a Friday. I might have missed last Friday, but I'm gonna nail this one. I took a few video clips this week, gonna mend them all together for your viewing pleasure. It was another interesting week. It seemed really short. I made a big mess. Here we are. We had a big rainstorm, lots of wind. I did more work outside, dragged home more stuff. Here we go with the action. It's still a little bit breezy this morning. Last couple days was a nor'easter, they call them up here. Big windstorm. If that was in the wintertime, it would be a massive snowstorm. But it's cleared out. And today, believe it or not, I'm going to pick up a free 4L80E transmission, just a couple towns over. The guy's pushed it out in his driveway. I'm there by myself. I was going to just pick it up, but I had a talk with my back and we decided we're not going to do that. So I stole the ramps out from under the dump trailer because it's super handy that it has a set underneath. And I'm going to, you can probably figure it out, put the ramps on the tailgate, use the two-wheeler, and drag it in that way. Let's see how this works out. Well, it went pretty well. I'll fill you in on the details in just a minute. My plan with the ramps worked okay. The situation was aggravated by the fact there was a hill in front of the garage that this transmission was sitting in front of. So I had to back up the hill. That put the truck and the ramps at quite an angle. But I managed to get it up in there. Public service announcement. If you're going to do transmission work, step one, drain the fluid out of it. A 4L80E has a reusable pan gasket. Just pull the pan off and then put it back on, and you won't have to continually belch fluid for the next 3 or 4 years while it sits around. And two, take all the bolts out of it. I have 4 4L80E cores with broken bell housings, all from removal. They even gave me the broken piece. It was sitting on the ground next to it. But hey, here I am kicking the old proverbial gift horse because it's free, and hey, this old Dodge needed some more undercoating. Oil treatment. Trying to lift it perfectly level so it doesn't leak any more oil in my truck. Once again, the truck is all cleaned out. The last of the brake clean is drying. When I fix up one of my older pickups and I go traveling the countryside collecting junk, I'm gonna have to make like a stainless liner to set the oily stuff in. More projects for the future. Once again, excuse the wind noises because it's a chilly late October day. I managed to get the broken dipstick out and another top hat and a piece of dipstick shoved in so I could stop the flow of oil belching out of this thing. A little over a week ago, I traded pretty much this exact transmission, a 2004, without the broken bell housing, but very similar in every way. This is a 2005. Never had a chance. Remember I said the reusable pan gasket has been lost, and guess what? About a quart of silicone on the pan. Rubber cooler lines. Here it sits in my shed. I did manage to, while I had the tools out, capture a few more dowel pins that were still stuck in it. Inside the shop, I like to go for the exact tool for the job, but sometimes it's fun outside to use what you got. I had pliers, a hammer, and a punch, and I managed to get that broken dipstick out of there. So it was plenty oily, that helped, but it was still pretty well stuck. So I'm going to put this back where the other transmission was here in the tractor shed and move on to the next project. Soon, in the very near future, I need to get these 3 Pontiacs inside. I'm afraid they have water in them and I don't want them to freeze, so I'm going to have to strip them apart and deal with the parts on those as well. Looking at the 4-wheel drive adapters, aluminum, cast, and the one I just dragged in, aluminum. I wonder if the cast one is only on a 1-ton, or who knows. I got to do some research on that. Either way, I need to pull them off and put them on eBay or something. So it's a decent day to work outside. There was a whole bunch of small trees just on the edge. Before I park anything over here, I wanted to take care of them. That's them over there. It took me 10 minutes with my Milwaukee hacksaw and a wood blade. Actually kind of fun. Moving some steel beams, there's really no good place to put them, so I'll just put them on the edge. Moving stuff. 1930 model AA chassis. Moving trailers. This is the chassis for the 49 Chevrolet pickup. A Model A frame with a Mustang 2 front and 8.8 rear that I have some plans for. We'll discuss in the future. A 30s Dodge cab on an S10 frame. I'm going to post this one for sale this afternoon. See what happens. It's a beautiful morning. I'm kicking the tires on the Suburban and trailer. Off on another mission to drag home more stuff. Back home, it was a successful journey. I brought plenty of trailer for the job. I could have driven the red Dodge now that I know what I was getting into in the situation, but you never know, so this is actually a little bit lower, so I figured it might be easier if I had to somehow wrestle that in by myself. What is it? It's an OTC torque converter flushing machine. It'll also flush transmission coolers. You can hook it right to the cooler lines in the vehicle. And you can flush it out that way, but you actually bolt the torque converter in it, and it cleans it out under pressure. So let me get it unloaded, and we'll take a better look at it. Gentle. While I had it up on the forks, I lubed up the wheels, so now it rolls around nice. I called OTC, and they sent me the link to the parts manual and the instruction manual, so I made a folder out of that. Inspecting it, I have a bag of original hardware that would allow you to bolt the converter here. I don't see that there's been a lot of action bolting converters on here, which is kind of strange. Same goes with the support. That piece goes way down inside the converter, and the other that goes over the hub. And it has pressurized oil, and the clear line is for air. You can either pump fluid or cycle it, which gives you pulses of air to help blow the stuff out of the converter, I guess. I have to investigate if it has any fluid in it or not, and if it even works. That's going to be a whole nother video. I removed the back service panel where you drain the fluid and service the filter, and in that crusty envelope is the actual owner's manual. And this is more adapters that I saw listed in the parts manual that the OTC lady also sent me. And oddly enough, there's a pop rivet tool and genuine OTC pop rivets. That's strange. These hoses, you can roll the machine under the car, hook it to the inlet and outlet of your transmission cooler, and use this machine to flush your cooler as well. I'd probably take the return and put it in a bucket first so you're not getting all the crap into the machine, but that's a cool feature. I've never had any type of transmission flusher, so at least I could clean the cooler out, which is always a concern. Interesting. So with air supplied to the OTC torque converter flusher, it actually spins that flex plate, if you will, that plate, and injects fluid and air under pressure in the converter. Converters with the drain plug would be a lot easier if you ran solvent through it to get it back out. I haven't read the full instructions yet, but I know you can flush them without having a drain plug or having to install one. So I know a lot of people do drill and tap a GM type converter anyway, but I probably would avoid that. My thought process is to run ATF. ATF is high detergent. You need 5 gallons of it, but if you're careful, that'll probably get you quite a few converters. It's not like you're going to flush a converter with a problem and fix anything. It's just a situation where you're freshening up a transmission, or something in the transmission has gone bad and maybe pushed debris into the converter. So it's not a fix-all, never was. I've seen that machine sold under Ford Rotunda, Excel, and OTC. It's all the same machine. I gather it's still listed on the Napper Auto Parts website for $10,600, which is ridiculous. I've seen them go at auctions, $2,500 to $5,000.
Still ridiculous. I saw results of another auction where one went for 26 bucks. This one seems to be, well, here's my thought process. They were so expensive, normal transmission shops and anybody else is not going to have one. Government entities and stuff like that could afford to buy one, and they probably never used it because they didn't overhaul a lot of automatic transmissions. So I don't believe they were a great seller. OTC said they stopped making them in 2008, and the patent was originally drawn in like 1968. So I mean, they had a pretty good run. I have only seen one in person up until this one, and I've seen videos online, a video online of a guy using one. It was a Ford Rotunda. Not super popular, but I do have 3 or 4 converters, stall converters. I'd like to flush out unknown origin, but I'm willing to give them a try, not in anything high level. You know, if you had a $10,000 transmission, you're not going to flush out a swap meet torque converter, but you get my drift. It has its place. A few times I would have liked to have had this machine if it works. So I'm gonna mess around with it, get it set up, see if it works, and shoot a whole video about it. So that's that. Happy Halloween. Like, share, subscribe. I gotta fit that in this video somewhere. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll catch you in a few days. And also dragged in the Dart, so just to get a look at it underneath. So that'll be the next video. Catch you later.